大家好，我是阿奇，
我是阿玲，
欢迎收看《麒麟来讲古》。你认为台湾是民主国家吗？
应该是啊，咱拢会当家己选总统啊呢。
但是你敢知希特勒嘛是民选的呢？你敢会认为讲迄阵的纳粹德国哦是民主国家？
当然毋是啊。
民主哦，除了家己会使选总统以外哦，上重要的哦是法治啦。不管人民哦，还是政府官员，拢嘛爱遵守国家的法律啦，维护公平正义。
是啊，法律之前吼，应该是人人平等啊。
但是台湾哦，选伫民国85年哦，假着宗教扫黑之名哦，来进行政治整肃啦。尤其是候选人检察官制作出来的太极门假案哦，已经迫害太极门26年啊咧，到即嘛阁还袂煞啦。
真正有够苦的呀，白白帮硬要人耳甲乌啦。
煞落啦吼，咱就透过影片来了解这段乌鲁木齐的历史啦。
民国85年，在政治整肃的氛围下，宗教扫黑，黑函四起，太极门无端受害，最后经历了10年3个月，在96年刑事3审法院判决，确定太极门无诈欺、无漏税、无违反税捐稽征法，还给太极门清白。
我从他的眼神里面呢，看到闪过一丝的阴影。
以我们办案的直觉，就是说，认为他应该有养小鬼这个事。
一个检察官用你的眼神就可以判断是不是要起诉你的话，那我们台湾就永无宁日。
I've studied the Taijimen tax case for close to 2 years. I've written an article about the Taijimen tax case. I don't think I've seen more abuse of the right of due process in any situation than I have seen in the Taijimen tax case. It is not due process to accuse a human being in a civilized society of raising goblins. The mere statement of that would cause individuals and should cause individuals to question the sanity of the prosecutor. And in any court of law, such an absurd allegation would be thrown out. I think that a 20-year ordeal is a violation of human rights. Justice delayed is justice denied. And to delay justice for 20 years and to still not have it, as we're sitting here today, is, in my mind, a denial of justice. And the thing that perplexes and even disturbs me is the fact that justice has been denied and delayed by just a few individuals. It is appalling to me that those few individuals could hijack an entire government.
太极门案呢，不是税务案子，也不是司法案子，因为根本就是整肃案子，政治整肃。
在这个太极门的事件当中，它是一个典型的228。
太极门案呢，它呢就是一个完完全全反映出台湾那个司法的照妖镜啊。同时也代表一个税务的照妖镜。
我们还是要强调，就是太极门呢，的确的不是洗白。这对于太极门在这个全民的这个体育还有这个家庭的共处这个教育方面的贡献我们给予肯定。
弟子呢的一个净施礼，那么依照所得税法的规定，还有我们遗产赠与税法的规定，是一个免税的一个所得。更何况是刑案呢，都已经确定了，缴税的人就是应该是赠与人，而不是受赠人。
太极门这个事件的一审判决，那时候宗旨只有一个，就是人性尊严中的宗教自由、跟信仰自由、跟思想自由。那我觉得那个税法这一块呢，也应该要重视这个。譬如说，那个判决里面1、2、3审，我们都认定了这个是赠与性质，那就不应该把它解释成补习班。
这一件案子呢，是完全就是因为他认为这是禁施的，这是一种赠与。经过我们法院3审的定验以后， 我们详细的论述起诉书哪里不可采，税监单位如果以这个起诉书来作为课税的根据哦，我觉得是匪夷所思。
你们可以到监察院的网站去看看，我有7点的纠正。每一个纠正的时候，国税局就说啊，我们呢弄错了。我在100年的时候，我就跟财政部长讲，那这个应该是可以结案的。他没有把它当作自己的事情嘛，反正那个奖金我拿了，然后呢要扣税也是扣你们的。
经过这个我们的这个司法体系的刑事的审查，都已经确认出这个相关的这个金钱的这个部分呢，是属于净失礼，是属于赠与而不是所得，就没有所谓的所得税的问题。经过法院刑事案件裁判确定所认定的事实，行政机关没有理由不加以引用作为他的这个整个决定的基础。
既然是有问题的判决，行政执行署就不应该去执行它。那他们为什么要执行它呢？就是奖金的问题。
明明知道不应该执行的一种，明明知道不应该课税的一个错误的判决，居然一意孤行的，而且强行的逼迫，在做一种拍卖，这样一个行为，老实讲是触犯刑法的渎职罪啊！明知不应征收而征收啊，这是129条宪法第129条第1项之罪。
太极门的这种冤屈，10年前就该解决的，为什么会拖到现在还没有解决？因为你们这是第一种最大的非法课税，非法课税，行政处分就是撤回注销。
咱检察官将乌白起诉，咱就会发现也判无罪咯，判无罪啊，代表啥？代表当初时咱遮所有检察官所提供的税务资料是骗人的嘛，都是假的嘛。
太极门在民国55年到79年都没有税的问题，86年到现在也没有税的问题，为什么独针对80年到85年这6个年度要课税？
最高法院拢已经3审判决确定啊呢，太极门无罪啊，无欠税，嘛无违反税捐稽征法啊。为什么国税局还可以当遮尔啊无法无天啊？
更较可恶的吼，是行政执行署竟然会使配合国税局违法经营拍卖太极门的收营性质呢？
咱的政府吼，竟然佮加重遐点，佮讲咱台湾是亚洲的民主灯塔，真正是笑破人的嘴。
太极门假案哦，即马已经引起国际一寡人权专家的注意啊！因本来嘛拢想讲台湾是一个民主国家，无想到竟然会发生即落代志啦！因拢认为这是足严重的代志啊！因为安尼会互人无相信民主制度啦。咱就来听看伊安怎讲。
Taiwan is nowadays one of the great democracies in the world. So how can we understand that after 14 years, a few bureaucrats are still able to harass and persecute a peaceful and honest movement that has proven its good faith in court for the last 25 years? How can we understand that less than a year ago, Taiji men saw their land and properties auctioned and confiscated by the state? Well, no country is perfect. But the problem is that when it's a so-called democratic country which starts erring on the wrong side of the tracks, when injustice occurs in a place that is supposed to be one of the good places of the world, the effects may be worse than when it occurs in an already totalitarian country. Why? Because it lowers the very standards of democracy for the entire world. It sends the message that injustice would not matter, that wherever you are, bad guys can win over good guys, and that there is no accountability in this world. A system where dishonest civil servants are allowed to continue to abuse their power without being stopped and without effective accountability needs reform. In the太极门case, the authority of control has found gross violations of human rights by the authorities for their wrongful handling of the case. That is already a good thing, but it has not stopped the fanatics who were at the origin of all attacks against the太极men. It has not put a final period to the case, because what matters to太极men disease is not the property per se. What matters the most is their right to practice their spirituality freely without being harassed, the right to teach their spirituality freely without being harassed, the possibility to spread goodness around without undue interference and without undue burdens. I make the wish that the太极men finally see the end of the persecution and recover its properties and land. And I make the wish that justice prevails once for all in the太极men case, so that all of the dizzy can now concentrate on their spiritual mission and practice without interference for the greatest good.
你敢有听过寒冬杂志？
有啊，因最有名的啊，专门拢咧报道吼，全世界各地受到人权甲宗教迫害的案件。
因最近嘛一直咧报道太极门假案哦，因认为这是非常严重的宗教人权迫害的案件，提醒全世界的人哦，拢应该爱来重视这个案件。咱嘛来听看因安怎讲。
We cover a large number of issues. Either every day we publish 2 articles or more. But why among our campaigns did we pick up太极men? Because we believe太极men is an internationally important case. Because here we have several typical or perhaps even stereotypical ways of discriminating against spiritual or religious groups. We have accusations of fraud and criminal prosecutions. Happily, they failed against the leader of太极men, Dr. Hong, and his co-defendants. We have media campaigns of fake news against Dr. Hong and太极men. He was even ridiculously accused of raising goblins. And we have something extremely important, and that is the use of taxes as a tool of discrimination and persecution. This is crucial, because in a way taxes are clean. There is no blood on the floor. But they may destroy a spiritual movement. And this has been done against太极men. So the case of太极men is important not only for太极men and not only for Taiwan. It is important for the world because it shows one of the main ways how rogue bureaucrats persecute innocent and even worthy religious or spiritual movements. Our readers have understood why we so much insist on太极men. and we plan to continue the campaign. As one of our editors say, in this sense, in fighting persecution, we are all Taiji men. Thank you.
In Taiwan, we at Bitter Winter saw at work Taliban of the National Tax Bureau or Taliban of the Administrative Enforcement Agency. They also expressed their intolerance by attacking a visual symbol of freedom and diversity, land they confiscated that was intended for a Taiji men self-cultivation center. Our extensive coverage of a tax incident may seem unprecedented, but in fact it is a 25-year-long persecution of a peaceful spiritual movement and the massive discriminatory use of taxes as a tool of discrimination that is unprecedented in a democratic country such as Taiwan. The Taiji men case is internationally exemplary and important, and yes, we plan to continue our campaign about it. Our voice will not be silenced until the voice of justice will speak and solve the case.
即马愈来愈侪国际专家学者甲人权斗士拢看袂落去啦，咱就来听因的证据是啥。
The idea that over 300 legislators have said that the situation should be changed is just incredible. Why didn't it happen? And one answer that's come up is bureaucracy. A few individuals have been hijacking the whole government. Watching the video, and I'd seen it before, and seeing it again, it was just as tragic. But the thing that struck me this time was a line something like, "Grey hairs grow one by one." And that tied in with what Professor Jackson said about justice delayed is justice denied. Former legislator Miss Xu made it absolutely clear to me that there was nothing special about Taiji men that would make them subject of such treatment. They were irrelevant almost. It was the tax office that I needed to understand. But I also now realize that there is actually something special about Taiji men. They're what my grandmother, who was a sort of fierce Scot, would call bloody-minded. They're not going to give up. They're gutsy. They're uncompromising. They're fighting not just for their own rights, but also for those of others, for Taiwan, and for the belief in the abstract concept of human rights, trying to make sure that it's a concrete reality that can be enjoyed throughout the world. Thank you, Taiji men. Good luck. Don't give up.
They have been taught never to compromise, whatever the price to pay. Integrity, dignity, respect, compassion, love, and peace are at the heart of their values and of their lives. But some people and institutions have shamelessly violated their human rights to justice. The DC are the best ambassadors of Taiji men's teachings to the outside world because they are the living testimonies that their spiritual values can regenerate individuals and society. This is a major contribution of Taiji men to the spread of human rights in Taiwan. This is also a precious asset for the Taiwanese society and the image of the country abroad. But the National Taxation Bureau and its ally, Prosecutor Hu, nicknamed the Judicial Rambo, stubbornly remain deaf to their call for justice.
My second comment is, it's not about money. Taiji men spent probably more money in 24 years just in legal fees for paying the lawyers than they would have paid in settling with the tax bureau. But they don't want to settle, and they are right, because by settling, they would acknowledge they were guilty of tax evasion, and that goes both against factual truth and against their conscience. Comment number 3, some people listening to me, they believe, oh, that's a minor case. There are much bigger problems in the world today, but it isn't. Justice, conscience are never minor problems. And first of all, this is a problem for Taiwan. Taiwan is in a difficult moment of its history. It needs friends. And these friends normally regard Taiwan as a beacon of religious liberty, which doesn't exist in mainland China and other countries in the region. Now, this is basically true. This reputation of Taiwan is well deserved, but there are some relics of the past. Taiwan came to acknowledge religious liberty through a bumpy road, and there are still some rocks around. This is one of these rocks from the past, and I'm afraid if this case is not solved, if there is no remedy for the injustice, Taiwan's international reputation will suffer, and the idea that Taiwan is a country where religious liberty is protected will be called into doubt.
I think that we should all stand by Taiji Men, because again, as the video brilliantly said, the battle of Taiji Men is the battle for the most important, most essential human right, religious freedom, is the battle for freedom, is the battle for liberty, is the battle for justice, it is the battle for equal treatment of all before the law.
听讲，伊嘛甲太极门假案交去予联合国人权理事会去讨论呢。
是啊，咱就继续看落去。
In June 2021, we brought to attention to the UN Human Rights Council the case of the Taiji men and the injustice they suffer in Taiwan. At this Human Rights Council, we denounced how the tax weapon was used to arm Taiji men. In this statement, we highlighted and denounced the unscrupulous means used by the Taiwanese government in its attempt to destroy the Taiji men movement. The use of tax weapons against spiritual minorities is unfortunately common practices in many countries, including France, which finally, after a struggle to denounce this injustice practice, was condemned by the European Court of Human Rights. In September, at the 88th Human Rights Council session, we renewed our appeal for Taiji men. This time, we highlighted the confiscation of this Taiji men place of worship by the Taiwanese government. This is another form of discrimination, just as serious, because the spiritual community cannot exist without a place of worship. Today, the situation of the Taiji men can no longer be ignored in the world, and the Taiwanese government must allow the Taiji men to enjoy their property, their place of worship, and to make their contribution to world peace without worry. The UN mechanisms allow civil society to participate in the improvement of our society, and it is important to continue to speak out against the unfair treatment of Taiji men by the Taiwanese government. It is in fact the struggle of the Taiji men that we support so that justice is done to them, so that their contribution to a better, peaceful, and harmonious Taiwanese society is recognized. Thank you for your attention.
真正有够见效啦！咱的政府官员吼，明明知影唔对啊，还阁官官相护，放任遐违法的官员吼逍遥法外，真正是气死啦！
这个专家学者吼，还是希望咱的政府吼，唔好因为一寡罗马官员的畏畏三做，互台湾伫国际社会上吼，互人看袂起啦。所以吼，就有25个专家学者联名写了一张批，互蔡总统 希望伊会当较紧用政治解决太极门假案。
International image of Taiwan will continue to suffer if the Taijimen case is not solved. I was in Washington, D.C. earlier this month and visited members of the parliament, influential journalists, and specialists of human rights in the U.S. Administration discussing the Taijimen case. And they were all truly astonished that in Taiwan, apparently nobody understands that if this problem is not solved, it may destroy the image of the ROC. That there are final decisions or bureaucrats who want to save their face is totally unimportant. There are thousands in the streets of Taiwan and now also in the United States protesting and claiming that Taiwan does not protect human rights and religious liberty. 25 senior international scholars and human rights activists just wrote this month to President Tsai asking for a political solution of the Taijimen case. And on behalf of them, I solemnly reiterate this request today. President Tsai, please adopt a political solution and solve the Taijimen.
太极门案件到今已经第26档啦，经过4任总统、300个政党轮替，但是所有的官员拢杀来杀去啊，无人愿意出面来解决啦。所以因呼吁蔡总统较紧政治解决太极门假案，毋好搁较大沙啦。拗戏大病愈拖干来愈歹看尔啦。
小英总统，你有看到批无？毋通搁放点点呢，较紧平反太极门假案啦。
最后，咱就来听《挪威》这首歌，奉劝所有政府官员，毋通规喙拢咧讲爱台湾，背后却拢咧害台湾。毋通怀疑太极门师徒，甲这国际人权专家捍卫公平正义的决心啦。搁较毋通互台湾的民主变做国际的笑话啊！
感谢大家今仔日的收看，
会记得甲阮按赞哦，分享互搁较侪人看。再会。
什么秘密？真相的时光机，谁在欺骗你？变了调的钢琴，滴着水的屋顶，已消失的光阴，谁能倒回去？孔子说子不语怪力乱神，侯简说的你们确信？没调查带枪上门抓人入狱无罪，却没人听。没做的事被你说的绘声绘影，良心在哪里？人民在苦海之中哭泣，但你全都当成是放屁。国税是你的兵器，即使法院说没问题，你依然嗤之以鼻，置之不理，自以为是皇帝，草菅人命，逼到绝境，谁能真正伸张正义？蚂蚁拼命，永不放弃一颗炽热丹心，犯错不停，随着轮回，早已失效的行政救济，满载负评，逐渐沦为一场永远没止境的悲剧。不顾程序，伪造文书，倒卖名产，陈情书院不理，别再自说不改，冥顽不灵，为了奖金玩论命，操纵媒体皆贪权，贪赃搞污污名，正义其实根本不正义。我们还能走去哪里？我们还要坚持真理，要我放弃心中正义 ？No way, no way。我们还能走去哪里？我们还要坚持到底，要我放弃心中正义 ？No way, no way。
国税是你的兵器，即使法院说没问题，你依然嗤之以鼻，置之不理，自以为是皇帝，草菅人命，逼到绝境，谁能真正伸张正义？蚂蚁拼命，永不放弃一颗炽热丹心，犯错不停，随着轮回早已失效的行政救济，满载负评，逐渐沦为一场永远没止境的悲剧。不顾程序，委托文书，倒卖名产，曾经书院不理，别再自说不改，冥顽不灵，为了奖金玩弄命，操纵媒体，借贪婪权，贪赃跑无国无民。正义其实根本不正义，我们还能走去哪里？我们还要坚持真理，要我放弃心中正义 ？No way, no way。我们还能走去哪里？我们还要坚持到底，要我放弃心中正义 ？No way, no way。不管未来路上充满多少的困境，自始至终我们都不曾放弃，捍卫真理，守护家园，我不曾忘记，勇敢坚持到底是我的宿命，要我放弃心中坚持的正义。